The Joe Rogan Experience.
So, 2003, we're in Brazil. Giant match. Eddie beats Gustavo Dantas, who is a very high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, and he taps him, gets his back. So I saw that you're pumped up. You know, you felt very confident. You felt good, and you were zoned in. But the idea that you were going to fight Royler Gracie seemed so crazy to me. Just knowing what I know about the Gracies, knowing what I know about the history of the family, knowing what a legendary family they are, to see you, my best friend, standing there with Royler Gracie, and you guys are about to grapple. I'm like, and we're in Brazil. I'm like, dude, this is a fucking trip.
I was starstruck.
How could you not?
I thought I was like watching some 3D TV or something. Feels like you're right there on the mat.
And Eddie wound up catching him in a triangle. And it was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was like time stopped. It was like when you slapped that triangle on him, it seemed like time stopped. It didn't even seem real. And you kept jailbreaking, man, which is like was hilarious. That dexterity that you have with your legs, and you're setting up this omoplata here, and you got him in like full rubber guard here.
Yeah, that
mission
was,
control
that
here.
was the beginning of the rubber guard. Right
yeah,
there.
what you had then was the ability to control people. You just didn't have as many variations on technique to attack with, but you had this unbelievable fucking flexibility that a lot of people aren't aware of. You got some weird flexibility, and not just flexibility, but dexterity. Like in places that maybe some people can grab their leg and put it, you could put your leg there on its own.
But there's so many guys that are out there that are, it's not that weird of flexibility. It's just getting into Lotus. Like if you got into yoga and you got obsessed with it, eventually 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you'd have to be able to get into the very basic Lotus position.
There's a little more than that, fella. You're being nice.
That's what it is.
I know what you're saying, but the reality is you got some crazy legs. There's something weird about your legs. Your legs are like arms. They move in strange ways.
Right here's, if he didn't try to pass right there and if we had just stayed in my guard, I wouldn't have gotten him. This wouldn't have happened, this transition. Boom.
The
if he would have just
jailbreak
stayed,
transition.
Yeah, he got aggressive, and he shouldn't have got aggressive. If he would have just been conservative, I wouldn't have been able to go right here, right into the triangle. Boom. Overhook. All Jean-Jacques right there. That's all Jean-Jacques.
Yeah, you controlled that wrist and then
Jean-Jacques.
slapped it over. And now this right here, where you had the triangle locked in, once here, like right there, I was like, holy shit. Because before, it was like one of those things where you're not breathing because it's not totally locked in. But once you had it locked behind the knee, I was looking at it, I was like, how is this guy going to survive? And he's tapping. I was like, he can't survive. Like, no one can. It's a human being. When you have a guy your size and you slap a triangle on him this tight. See, right here, I wasn't sure. Bam! There I knew. Like, once he dropped down, I was like, holy shit, that's locked in.
You were screaming, man.
Oh, my God. And we were the only one screaming because everybody else was freaking out. This Brazilian TV station had set up cameras there. They shut down the other matches so they could better light this match because Royler Gracie's a hero. And they were going to show Royler Gracie dominating the first time Abu Dhabi came to Sao Paulo. When you slapped this triangle on him, dude, all you heard was me and Jamie Walsh. Me and Jamie Walsh were yelling out, pull the head, pull the head. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It was just madness. Like, oh, shit, what? We couldn't even believe it. And then once you did pull the head and once he did tap, it was like the world froze. It was weird. It was like, didn't make sense. The world just became some new place. The world just, a totally new element opened up. Like the world became a new place. Now, all of a sudden, Eddie Bravo is a champion martial artist.
Well, I didn't win the championship, though.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. You just tapped Royler Gracie. Like you're capable of tapping Royler Gracie. That's championship level shit. You tapped one of the greatest guys of all time. And it was a whole new world opened up.
Yeah.
It was just all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah. It was weird.
It was weird. It was weird to watch too, man. Because when I met you, you were a purple belt. You know, you were a really good purple belt. Weird, crazy moves and shit. And then all of a sudden, you were a brown belt, and you were a brown belt in Abu Dhabi, bro. That's crazy. You tapped him when you were a brown belt. So 11 long years go by, and this Saturday night they had a rematch. Eddie and Royler had a rematch in Metamoris, and that's what we were talking to Royler Gracie about on the phone. They're promoting these professional jiu-jitsu matches, and it's awesome. Keenan Cornelius fought Kevin Casey. Kevin Casey you gotta pee? I'll just describe the whole event. A lot of really, really high-level fighters fought. A lot of really good jiu-jitsu fighters fought. And the main event was Eddie versus Royler Gracie. And 11 years running. I mean, it's a long time in between matches. And there was so much talk, so many haters, so many believers, there's so much back and forth between, the people that thought that Eddie winning the first time was a fluke and the people that legitimately thought that Eddie has a brilliant mind and a creative mind for jiu-jitsu that's really unique, and he can come up with a lot of techniques. And his he doesn't want to admit that he's got weird dexterity in his legs, but he can move his legs in weird ways. He can wrap you up in triangles and stuff in weird ways without a lot of people have to grab their foot and place it in places. So he has these techniques that he's developed and really created a bunch of paths. And a lot of jiu-jitsu guys do this. This is not unique. But his paths were uniquely his in that he came up with a lot of different techniques and approaches and refined a lot of other approaches that he sort of adapted to jiu-jitsu. And the system in 2003 was really not even a tenth of what it is now. After 2003, Eddie started teaching, and then it became crazy. Then the system started growing, and new techniques were added, and there became guys like Danny Propakos, who's a world champion as a brown belt. Guys came out of there that were showing that your techniques weren't just for you and your crazy dexterity, but you had broken down things in a way that other people hadn't done before. In a weird way, your positions, you're very unique, and there was a lot of people that didn't want to accept that for whatever reason. And there was all this, he got lucky, fluke, this. So Saturday night rolls around, and I couldn't imagine there being more anticipation in a room before something. And it was a cool anticipation too, because one of the things I like about jiu-jitsu is no one's going to get knocked the fuck out. Even if you get choked out, there's something about seeing a friend fight. It gets real rough. I mean, we've been friends with MMA fighters, but I've never been as friendly with an MMA fighter as I am with you, But knowing a guy and liking a guy and then watching him get head kicked, it's hard to do, So it didn't have that aspect to it, but it was all positive is what I'm trying to say. It was all just, holy shit, it's going down. And once it did, there was no points because it's a 20-minute match. So for 20 minutes, it's either submission or no points. But in that 20 minutes, you swept him on multiple occasions. You got side control. He never threatened you in any way, shape, or form. You swept him with electric chairs. You threatened him with a neck crank. And you threatened him with this nasty fucking submission move on his knee, which I don't know how he didn't tap, because that was hard to watch, man. When we were sitting there watching,
that was the move I got you on the high time.
Yes.
You know that move?
The vaporizer.
Yeah.
That move is so painful. Just that photo shoot, that shit hurt, man. Yeah. It hurts. And somehow or another, Royler look, he's a warrior. He didn't want to tap. He just decided he wasn't going to tap. For people who have never seen jiu-jitsu before, that was like the perfect introduction match because it was so exciting. There was so much madness, and there was a bunch of times where you were working on shit, and he rolled you over onto your back, and then he swept him again. So there's all these seesaws. When he would roll, you'd be on your back. Oh shit, he's on his back. But you on your back is different than a lot of people on your back because that's how you tapped him in the first fight. You tapped him from your back. Your back is, your guard is crafty. So it was an incredibly thrilling match because there was constant threat at all times. And even from him, man, he's still Royler Gracie. You always knew, he's still that champion. If something went wrong, if you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's.
I was not sure I was going to win this fight.
How could you be sure? He's fucking Royler Gracie. He's Royler fucking Gracie.
I never said that I'm going to go out there and just strangle him. I didn't know. I hadn't competed in so long. Look right here. I'm faking like I'm going to wrestle. Because I didn't think he was just going to let me pull him into quarter guard. I thought at this point, I'm like, wow, he didn't know. I thought he was just going to try some totally different shit, but this is what he always does. Every morning before I work out, I warm up on the Stairmaster. I go to YouTube, put Royler, ADCC, pick one of his matches, and that's how that gives me all the motivation. I just watch him roll, and he's so good at this. But I thought he would try to pass to the other side, and I thought this position was going to be the hardest to get, and this was the key. If I could just get quarter guard in this position, I felt like I could get him.
And there was a bunch of crazy rules in this match as well. One of the rules was that Royler was wearing like these skin-tight shorts. Eddie was wearing gi pants. And Royler was allowed to grab Eddie's gi pants, but Eddie wasn't allowed to grab Royler's shorts. So it was weird to watch, man, because there's times where he's like giving you a wedgie and pulling on your pants. And
yeah, he's pulling them down. You could see my underwear.
Yeah, and when he got to that leg lock and he was trying to defend that leg lock, I mean, you're tearing his knee apart, and he's hanging on to your cuff.
It saved him. The pants saved him.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't have the pants, I would have stomped on that foot and got the extra power. Because I think his knee popped at least 7 times. We were talking. Yeah. I'm like, we could stop this now. Are you sure? He goes, no, I'm fine. And I'm popping. I'm like, what about that? He goes, I'm fine. I'm like, it just kept popping. I'm like, damn, are you sure? Because everything's good. I said, everything's fine. Like, we're talking throughout this whole match. Like, right here, he wanted the underhook really, really bad. So I was saying, it's hard to get this time, huh? Because the first time he got the underhook,
right.
I go, lot of work.
Saying that too?
Yeah, I'm like, lot of work, huh? It was a hard one. It's only because I would rather go against a guy who wasn't really mad at me.
Right.
If I could joke with you and get like this is just for fun.
Right.
Then I feel like, okay, I can get this guy now because I could win because he's not mad. But if he's mad, oh shit, like I would never want to fight like a Diego Sanchez type guy who's mad at me. I'm like, oh no. I want to fight a guy that's like friendly and shit. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I was just constantly joking with him, constantly. And during, like, after I swept him, when I get on top in the electric chair and I'm holding him, I go, you can't move from here, so just hang on and relax. I need about a minute to rest. And I'm just like, I go, you can't do nothing, just relax.
That's hilarious.
Because there's certain positions where I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 positions are like cradles. They're like wrestling cradles. And
right.
It happens here where the guy on the bottom just can't do anything. He's not getting tapped, but he can't move. He's completely wrapped up. And I use those spots to rest. So,
but it's hilarious that you told him, just relax. You can't get out of this.
when me and Jean-Jacques wrestle, we are always talking smack to each other. Me and Jean-Jacques always goof, and it's always a joke.
It's fun.
Always. Me and Jean, it's like a thing we do. And I do it. There's certain guys that I roll with, and I do that too. I don't like to do it too much to my students because then it seems like I'm acting all arrogant against a guy that he's one of my students. He's a blue belt or a white belt. Right. That would look really douchey.
No, but you do it playful.
But because Jean-Jacques can smash me anytime he wants, I talk I pretend like I'm arrogant because it's funny because he can do anything he wants.
Right.
So no matter how douchey I get, we know it just doesn't make any sense because he's killing me. But so same thing here. I have so much respect for him that I feel like I could just joke around with him, and I don't want him to be mad at me.
Well, that's good. That's a good attitude to have, man, especially after 11 years between the matches. It's cool that you kept that feeling, and you were completely respectful, rather, the entire way up to it, the promotion of it, your opinion of him. You know, you were like praising what a legend he is. And,
always,
you were very self-deprecating about your first victory too. This was a 20-minute match, and because there was no submission, it's a draw. Metamoris is doing a unique thing, and I don't know if they've got the rules totally ironed out where they want them to yet, but what they're trying to do is discourage people from point fighting. And what that means is work towards submission at all times, and you may get a submission and you may not get a submission, but the idea is you're seeing real jiu-jitsu here, and they've accomplished that. Like, everyone was going for submissions, whether it was Guy Mendez or Rafa Mendez or, Keenan Cornelius. Everyone was going for submissions. Sometimes they didn't get them, but it was really exciting because of that, because guys couldn't just sort of wrestle to a certain position and then hold. But if this was a scored match, you would have beat him handily. I mean, you swept him multiple times. You got side control on him, and you had 2 near submissions.
This is where he gets the underhook. The crowd goes nuts because he was been fighting for the underhook for 5 minutes, and he finally gets it. And this is the position that we were in our first match. So all the Gracies are like, yes, he got the underhook. It's so technical that he finally got it, and I still have him in quarter guard here. So I was a little worried. But you see what I'm doing with my right hand? I'm going under the knee right here. I never really do that. And I was keeping him from going no-hand pass. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is nice. He can't go no-hand pass because I'm holding his leg out like that. And I've never really done that before. This is the first time. It's crazy.
Oh, that's
see how I have my left hand?
Yeah.
He can't go no-hand pass. I'm holding open his legs. So I felt comfortable even though I didn't have the underhook. I just had to somehow get a lockdown. So for my people, they know, they see me fighting like this. Oh, this is every day in the gym. This is how it looks. I start in this position. This is how it looks. So to the Gracie side, they probably thought he was winning right here. Like
exactly.
My mom was freaking out. My mom thought he was killing me.
At this moment, you got the lockdown. Somewhere in here, you got the lockdown. And when you got the lockdown, here it is.
There it
the
is.
crowd went fucking crazy.
Yes, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I get the lockdown, my guys go nuts.
Yeah.
He gets the underhook, his crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
I get the lockdown, my crowd goes nuts. It was crazy.
The lockdown's way bigger though. What for folks who don't know, the lockdown, when you got a guy who's really good at it and he has you in half guard and slaps it on, your leg's in jeopardy. You might tear your fucking knee. You're getting manipulated. You got 2 legs against 1. And when a guy's really good at it, a guy like Eddie, when they're really good at it and they have 2 legs against 1, it puts you in a precarious position, and it makes you vulnerable to a lot of different sweeps. And here you're flipping him backwards. Like
that's
look,
when
dude,
the crowd went nuts.
Well, dude, you got his leg in a mangled position here.
There's an electric chair right here. I didn't think this was the plan. The plan was exactly what happened. That was the plan. I was going to go just do what I do at the gym every night. This is exactly what I do every night. This is nothing new. It wasn't a special strategy for Royler. So that was Jean-Jacques' whole plan, is to get me to do what I normally do, the best shit I'm at, to do it out there on him.
And then he reversed you for a second.
That was only to get
I
didn't have the leg on my shoulder. So I go, let's go back and boom and get it. So it looked like he swept me, but I went back to put that leg back on my shoulder and I rocked right back up. So people thought I'm like, dude, I do it all the time. So now I'm in a position. This is where
you rocked it with momentum because you had full control over that leg.
It just wasn't on my shoulder. I had to go back and scoop it up. So now I'm on top, and now I'm in the electric chair on top, and this is where I'm talking to him. I'm like, you can't do anything here. Just relax. This is where I rest. I went through a lot of explosion, and I rest right here. I have control of his legs.
And look at this. That's why he was doing that thing with his hands, because people were wondering, like, why is he throwing his hands up in the air? Like, he did that a couple of times when you got him into side control.
Yeah,
he did that.
And then I passed the guard, boom. And right here, he's still stuck. I got him in a cradle.
But that makes sense now, because everybody wondered why he was doing that with his hands. People were like, oh, Royler was complaining. No, he was complaining because you were talking shit to him. Yeah. You were saying you're stuck here. Don't move.
And maybe he was saying, well, I can't do nothing. He's holding me. He's holding me.
Right.
This is jiu-jitsu. We're holding, we're clenching and squeezing, and he's all like, how could he complain about that? He's totally immobile here. Even though I let go of the lockdown and passed his guard. The reason why the pass was guaranteed is because of the control I have on his leg. I have a head and arm and the leg, so that pass was easy. As soon as I let go of the lockdown, didn't want to let it go until I rest a little bit. And then finally I let go of the leg last, and now I'm in side control. And here's the big transition. I thought he was going to turn into me, but he turns away. So I'm like, ooh, that's even easier, but he's rolling in a nice way, but I had to turn it into 100% here. So this is halfway. This is a neck crank that I do to get the guy to give me his back. So I'm neck cranking him here, and if he pulls his left arm all the way out, I usually transition to the back, and that's what he did right there. So now I'm getting up, and his left arm's free now, so all I got to do is get up on my right knee and then swirl to the back. That's what I'm going to do here. I wanted the twister. That was the plan. The plan was to get him in a twister, but he did a really good job of just shrugging me off. So now I got to start over again. So at this point, I'm thinking, this is what I'm really thinking. I thought the most important thing for me is to go out there and not get smoked and not get tapped in 20 seconds or 30 seconds, because that would be that would crush me. That would be the worst possible thing. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. And if I lose, if I tap, at least let me go out there and we have 20 minutes. Let's see some good 10 planet techniques for my people just to show that it works. If he taps, so at this point, I'm thinking I did so much to him right there. Textbook 10 planet shit all the way through, note for note, that I thought, the worst case scenario, if he taps me in 1 second, at least I got some good shit in. So in my mind, because that's how much respect I have for him.
Right.
I'm like, he could still get me. I'm not over. We got like 13 minutes. So in my mind, I already won. I won. So when you think that way and I thought I already did all this shit. So the worst case scenario, he taps me out, I did a good job. So for some reason, that made me just want to attack him more and go, let's just keep pounding up. Oh, here's another one. Damn, let's see if I could do another one. Oh, here's another one. And I just changed shit. I go, damn, I'm not going to go for a twister. I'm going to go for a vaporizer. So when I get him in an electric chair and he doesn't tap, when I test his flexibility, if they don't tap, I can just sweep him and get on top and set him up for a twister, which I already tried. But I made the decision. I go, you know what? There's a lot. He's pretty good at shaking me off the back. If I just go to the vaporizer, it'll look just as cool as the twister. And I do it all the time, and that's good enough. So that was the plan. I go, he's not stopping the electric chair, so I'm going to go back and get another. I thought about rubber guard for a second there, and I thought, you know what? You see how I got the underhook? You see that? I went rubber guard, lockdown, whipped him. He had the underhook, but that whip, boom, I sucked him around, bam. That's a little whip down combo, a very important combo to master. And now I got the underhook, so I thought he's not stopping the electric chair tonight, because if he would have been able to, he can't, or I'm able to do electric chairs easy, so I knew I could just go back and more money in the bank. I knew he couldn't stop it. He just was perplexed here. So I go, you know what? I got to go to the vaporizer here, which means I got to get his leg over to my left shoulder on the other side. I need to get my head. I just need to squash his leg down and get on top in a leg drag type position, but a leg drag with a lockdown to maintain control. So right now I go back to the electric chair for the third or fourth time, and I was really confident at this point. I just knew he wasn't going to tap from the electric chair, and I didn't want to pass his guard, get on top, and try the twister. I already made the decision.
So for folks who don't know what we're talking about here, the electric chair is a move where you got a guy literally in a full split, and you're controlling his bottom leg, and the other leg you're forcing it up towards his head. Most people don't have the flexibility to tolerate it, and a lot of times they tap just from that. You're like literally ripping their crotch apart.
Yeah, and right here, you know what? I didn't get the position I wanted, so I'm letting him get on top so I can set it up again. I go, he cannot stop it. He can't stop my underhooks. I already knew I had him beat on the inside, so I'm gonna set it up again and go back to because I wanted the vaporizer. He foiled the vaporizer. I lost control of his leg, so I got to start over again.
So all of these times where he's on top, where the audience is like, oh, the tide has shifted back and forth. This was just you resetting. Dude,
he could not stop my half guard game. The confidence just kept growing and growing. So even though he has the underhook, I go, watch, I'm gonna get the underhook back. I was already getting it back. There's no way you could stop it. Like that. See that? Boom, whip down. I go, yep. I'm just going to keep doing it. He can't stop it. So, and then I'm going to start all over. I know he's not going to be able to, he's not going to shake the lockdown. The lockdown's too strong. He was never close to ever getting his leg out. I was so confident at this point. I was getting a little gassed, and I knew I could recover. All I needed is like a little time. So I'm to hide the gassiness.
The fact
I would stop breathing. I'm dying inside, but I would stop breathing. You know, like when Jason walks into your house and you're in the closet and you're like, but then you go.
Yeah.
I was doing that just so he wouldn't smell. Now I did it again. I knew I could do it again. Now I got to get his leg to the other side. I don't want, look at it. See, I'm holding onto his leg. I need to get it to the other side of my body. Right? So I'm like, you know what? Damn, I lost it again. Let me do it again. So look at that. Let me do it again. They thought he reversed me, but I go, I'm just setting it up. Now I got the leg over right there. Boom. Now that's where I want to be. That's the transition right there. And I go, ooh, I'm going to go after his leg. I thought about it for a second there, but I go, no, you know what? I'm going to roll. I can't just reach back for it. I got to set it up. I'm going to set it up right here, squash him down. I thought about it again, but then he stopped it right there. And I go, okay, let me set it up differently. But then we got broke up here. And this is where all the controversy happened.
What the hell was going on here?
I knew what position we were in. It was top stoner control.
Right.
I knew the position. I'm there all the time. He had no idea what I was doing. So, and he didn't know that I knew. He thought it was just some crazy, weird position. And, he didn't know where he was. And I pulled guard right here and I was going to say, here, give me your leg. Let me throw it over. I'm going to get on top and we're going to go back and I'll show you exactly the whole thing. I was going to show it. I was going to do it from the top. See, I'm trying to do it from step one. And then I was going to take him over and I was showing him the sweep instead of just getting in the position. He's all confused. He don't know what's going on. I go, you got to get your leg over. And he keeps refusing. I'm like, man, he's not letting me get in the position. And look, he's like, no. And he didn't know. In his defense, he didn't know the position, but I know exactly what's going on. He refuses to get in the position. And then I'm just thinking, I need to rest a little bit anyways. So this is bullshit. I'm not going to argue. Look, we're just arguing here. He won't let me. I know exactly. And then I decided, fuck that. Fuck this shit. I'm not going to get fucked here.
And the crowd was going nuts. They're yelling, replay.
And so Scott Nelson looks over right here. He looks over to Halleck and he goes, what do you want me to do, Halleck? Halleck said, stand him up. Start standing. And look, he's going to walk over right now. And I said, what did he say? And then they put the replay on. He goes, Halleck said, stand him up. He said, stand him up. And I'm like, fuck that. We're not standing up. And then the replay comes on and everybody looks at the replay, and then Royler just gets down and gets into position. I go, look I know what position's going on. So he let me have it. See, he said, okay. No resistance once the video came out.
Yeah. You kept trying to sneak that left knee in.
Yeah. And this is top stoner control right there.
Right.
There's stoner control from the back, and there's
but he
stoner
didn't have
control
your
from
wrists.
the top.
He didn't have your wrists before.
Well,
the break.
It didn't matter. None of this. What I want here is I want him to push me away because I'm going to dip and roll. I'm going to tuck and roll. But if he holds on to me, I can't tuck and roll. If he holds on. So I got to make it look like I want to smash him and squeeze him because I could pass at any time. The pass is guaranteed. Do you want the for sure pass or do you want to try to tuck and roll and go for the kill right away and go after the vaporizer? And I thought, I'm going right for the vaporizer. Fuck passing his guard and then he recovers half guard and all that shit. I wanted to go for the kill right here. So right now I'm on my side. I'm setting it up. I need to be up on my knees, but just all I do is need to get up. See, I'm getting up. All I got to do is really get on top, but I know I could get on top of him anytime I want. I know this position. I'm just waiting. Now I'm on my knees. I collected some gas. I recovered. He can't get out. I'm in control here. His legs are all mangled. So what I want to do is turn to my right and roll on my left shoulder. But I'm resting. All I'm doing is resting. I'm going to turn to my right, roll on my left shoulder, but I need him to push me. So I'm selling the fact that I want to squeeze him. And I want to see, now he's pushing away. He bought it. He bought the fact that I wanted to squeeze him. So this is what I always do. So now I'm gurgling, going, like I hate this. But look, he's going to help me. See how he helped me and he pushed me through? He pushed me through. Like,
he pushed you through, and now you got this. And I thought for sure he was going to tap.
This is the vaporizer. No one has ever not tapped to this. This is, in my arsenal, the nastiest leg lock. It's a calf crank and it's a toe hold at the same time. And he can't protect himself with his other leg. We're on his other leg, so his other leg is useless. I can use both my arms as opposed to the calf crank from the truck. The calf crank from the truck, you can't use both arms for fear of getting armbarred with one of them.
The left, yeah.
Yeah. So you need to protect that other leg anyways. He's got a free leg to break shit apart. But from the vaporizer, he can't protect with his other leg. It's out of the mix, and you could use both arms because there's no arm bar. And it's a leg compression and a toe hold in one. It's the nastiest leg lock in my arsenal. And the fact that his leg popped at least 7 times, it was popping and cracking. And I'm telling him right here, I'm asking him, I go, dude, we can end this. And he's like, no. See that? He's like, no. I go, we can stop this. It keeps popping. He goes, that's normal. I go, it keeps popping. And he refused to tap. He refused, man. And I was yanking, so I thought, I was doing things I never did to that vaporizer. I usually just grab the toes with both hands, twist it and pull, and it's really easy. And the calf crank from the truck, another thing that you need to stomp the inside of your left foot with your right foot. You got to shove your leg deeper into the back of his knee.
Look how nasty that looks.
But in the calf crank, you need a stomp. In this one, you don't need a stomp. You could just keep your legs figure forward. both arms, that's enough pressure. Just leave your legs figure four. But if for some crazy reason they don't tap like he did, then you would go to the stomp to add even more pressure. But he was holding the gi pant. So I could see he's holding my right leg. I need to use my right foot and stomp on the inside of my left foot. I need to pull it up and stomp on it.
And you can't get his hands free.
I can't get my leg free. You see how he's holding it?
Right.
But I mean, so I decided, you know what? I generally don't need to stomp on that foot. So I'm going to still try to make him tap like everyone else taps without it. But see how he's holding it? So I grab his foot, I'm twisting it. And I thought there's like a minute left. I go, I'm going to give it everything I got one more time. And I just grabbed his foot, something I never do. And I twisted it and shoved it, like try to shove it like in his ribs, man. And he still wouldn't tap. And you're just popping. And he didn't care. He just kept going.
He knew that if he didn't tap, it would be a draw, and that's what he needed. He couldn't have you tap twice. Tap him twice.
Yeah. He has nothing. The fact that he's holding on to my gi pants there, that's what's saving him. You know,
that's so crazy.
Yeah, he's in some serious danger right here.
If you had to do it again, would you do it with gi pants again?
Yes. Yes, because the gi pants made those electric chairs so easy. He was never close to pulling his leg out of the lockdown. So
the traction is just unbelievable.
I mean, the pants were bad for him in a lot of ways, but it saved him right here
in this one position.
Yeah, it did save him. But I would have went back to pants anyways with that whole pant scandal thing.
It's amazing.
I asked to wear pants. They said, okay, you can wear pants if you promise not to change your mind. I wanted to change my mind. They said, you promised not to change it. And then so they made me wear what I asked for. So I met his lawyer. His lawyer, it ended up being really, really cool, man. The guy that was trying to protect Royler from the pant whole situation.
That's when you're twisting it?
Dude, yeah, I'm pushing down and trying to smash.
He's obviously in some serious pain here. But it's incredible that he's not tapping. What do you think happened to the knee? If you had to guess, is there some damage?
I don't know. Maybe his knee always pops. And
well, that's the thing
normal.
They say about him is that he won't tap to joint locks. Like, remember when Sakuraba got him in that Kimura?
Yeah.
And they stopped the fight, and he's like, "Don't stop the fight. I'm there all day. I'm fine. Like, I don't get tapped from those things."
Yeah, man.
So like Halleck said, please don't watch this on YouTube. If you do watch on YouTube, please support Metamoris. Just go there and purchase one for $20. There's a lot of high-level matches, and it was really fun.